And we have it in the display case here, that the aluminum metal and the titanium metal, 8% aluminum, 1.3% titanium metal. And
now the rest of it, obviously, this doesn't add up to 100%. So what do they determine as the rest of it?
I don't know. I had to tell them what to test for.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it was $60 for each metal that I mentioned. So I didn't want to give them 1,000 metals to search for. But so this is the end of a metal rod there. Noah's Ark, again, agreeing with what Ron found, agreeing with the other crescent shape that we found. And I found these on opposite sides of the Ark, on the outside of the Ark. So 2 different areas, plus wherever Ron found his. So 3 different areas, the same metal composition of the same man-made metal. So this is, a man-made object.
Now, presumably what is surrounding this is petrified wood, we'd have to assume at this point?
There would be, yeah, when some of it may be some mud that's mixed in, where the mud kind of covered the Ark. But yes, there should be some sort of petrified wood associated with this.
Okay, well, we're going to come back to this in a minute. We're going to show a nail from Noah's Ark next.
For more than 20 years, Ron Wyatt spent his life and his life savings on researching and finding the real Mount Sinai, Sodom and Gomorrah, Noah's Ark, and the Ark of the Covenant. Discover the amazing truth of Ron Wyatt's discoveries in a special series from A Rude Awakening International, AD, Archaeology Discovered. Special guest Kevin Fisher walks you through every discovery in detail, including his personal verification that the sites Ron Wyatt found are real.
You can see the 4 major discoveries, the Noah's Ark, Red Sea Crossing, Mount Sinai, Sodom and Gomorrah. Those are visible things. It's not for us. God has a timing for this. It's not for us to force the issue, to try to bring it out. So the Israeli Authority, they know it's there.
Now, Kevin, in the middle of our presentation here, we broke, and now we're coming back. We are discussing metal, not only petrified wood, but metal found at the site of Noah's Ark, and that is because Tubal-Cain was a metal worker. We have evidence of that in Genesis 4. Now, what are we seeing up on the screen here?
So this is a cylindrical shape of a nail found in the remains there of Noah's Ark. And I sent it off to the lab, and it also came back with aluminum metal inside of it. So again, we have the metal rivets, the metal rod, and you have the metal nail, all with aluminum inside. And so again, this is interesting information. Now, on the starboard side, in this graphic here, you see a nice vertical rib timber on the port side. Again, this is it has a rather curved shape to it, sort of like the ribs we were speaking of earlier. It's a really nice example of the ribs on the port side. But Ron Wyatt had a radar, subsurface interface radar device that he could run across the side of the Ark, and he noticed that there was a chamber at this particular spot. And so he did a core drill. It's about 6 inches in diameter, but about 5 feet deep. But anyway, he drilled into that chamber and used a long rake device stuck in there, and he pulled out petrified antler, petrified animal dung, cat hair, I believe it was red human hair, and then also some type of fiber similar to fiber optic, where light would hit one end of it and it would go out the other end.
Very strange.
Very interesting, evidence that he pulled out of that chamber. So if an excavation can ever be done, there's going to be additional, exciting information inside the Ark, and a lot of petrified timbers inside the structure. So here's a view of the visitor center. When I was on the Ark, you can see a tour group on the right who are looking down upon the Ark. Here is a close-up of the Ark using the telephoto. Different lighting, you can see different features of the Ark. And again, you can see the rib timbers on this starboard side on the side of the Ark. And here's another view from the stern. And now, Arthur Brandenburger, a photogrammetrist, he said, "I have no doubt at all that this object is a ship. In my entire career, I've never seen an object like this in a stereo photo." This is one of the people back in 1960 that went out to the Ark site, and he believed that this, really was the Ark site because of the incredible shape of it, and being a boat, and of course finding out later that its exact length is stated in the Bible. So Dr. Sally Bayrak-Tutun, he is a geologist there in Turkey, and he believes fully that it is the Noah's Ark site. He said it's a man-made structure, and for sure it's Noah's Ark. He's been on the History Channel talking about this Ark site. He also said, very similar to an ark in the dimensions, the length, the width, and the height are very, very close to the figures given in the books. Such as, I don't know if the Quran does mention something about Noah's Ark, but of course he's referring also to the Bible. Now, that subsurface interface radar I spoke about earlier, the manufacturer, Mr. Wyatt, showed them the printout where he ran it over the top of the Ark, and he got some readings of the rib timbers inside. And the manufacturer of it stated, this data does not represent natural geology. It's a man-made structure. The reflections are occurring way too periodic to be random natural type interfaces. So they are saying this is a man-made structure that he ran the radar device over top of.
Regardless of whether you believe it is Noah's Ark, it is a boat, it's man-made, it's something.
Yes. Now here's the rib timber in 1987 when they had the visitor center ceremony dedicating the site for Noah's Ark National Park. He had his radar device out, running it over top of the Ark, and he said, hey, there's something under the ground here, and the authorities said, dig it up. So he dug up this nice deck timber. It's in 3 different layers, and on the left edge of the photo here, at the end of it, is some glue oozing out. So there was glue applied between each layer, and they were combined together. Plywood is stronger than wood of just one single layer, and that's what we have here. The wood was applied in layers, and it was glued between each layer. And of course, it was tested and found to have a high level of organic carbon in it, consistent with petrified wood. So again, we have wood in Noah's Ark. In the center of this photo, you see some protrusions sticking up in a row. There's 4 or 5 going horizontally across. These are vertical deck support timbers. Or wait a minute, in this case, these are horizontal timbers that would have come out across the deck. We're standing on the center of the deck. These are over on the side, and they would have extended toward us, toward the center of the deck of the Ark. So these are horizontal deck support posts that are basically, broken off at this point, but you're seeing a random, or actually a systematic pattern here in a row. You've got 5 in a row here of the horizontal deck support timbers. Here is a model, computer model of what the Ark could have looked like based upon raw scans. There would have been a door here in the right front, the bottom of our picture here in the right front, and there's stairs going down, a ramp system in that area according to the scans. Here's the Ark compared to the Bounty. You can see how much larger.
It's a large ship.
Yes, very, very large. And Dr. Ekrem Akragul, he is the prominent archaeologist in Turkey some years back. At any rate, it is a ship, an ancient ship. It must be preserved, he said. So again, we have confirmation of the Ark site. Now here's my friend Jerry Bowen and his son Jeremy standing on the bow of the Ark with the lesser Ararat in the distance in the center of the photo, and the greater Ararat would be to our left in the clouds. But they're standing here on the bow of the Ark, the very front. And this is a picture from that spot looking downwards. You're looking down the length of the Ark with the rock intrusion on our left center there. And then the bow, you cannot see, or the stern, excuse me, the back of it in the distance there, you can't see too well in the shadows. But you're standing here on the front of the Ark looking downwards, the length of it. And here's a photo of myself standing on the Ark with the valley down below, the Valley of 8. Here's a drone shot of the Ark formation. On the kind of the right side of our picture, we see the Ark. And you can see how the sides have been skewed outwards. because it's been torqued or turned on this rock intrusion on the right side of the ark.
Now that becomes obvious in that
Yes,
shot.
it's
now.
been twisted on that rock, and it caused the right side to splay outwards. Now this is another picture from our drone of the ark. You can see the symmetrical shape with the bow in the distance, and you see the nice curved center of the ark and the sides and so forth. But we're heading away from Noah's Ark, and we're heading toward a village where these sea anchors were hung from the front of the ark. Along the way, we see some of the little village structures, very primitive. And this is the village where the sea anchors are held. There, it's a village of Arzep, it's called. And here are some of the sea anchors. We can see some crosses carved on them.
And there are 8 crosses typically on these?
Some of them, yes.
Okay.
Some have more, some have less, but some have the 8 for the 8 people that were on the ark.
Now, how many of these are out there? I mean,
there's like 13.
13. So
Yes.
there's something significant with these.
Right, right. And this was a rather large one lying down, and at the top of it that we'll see, at the top of the picture here on it, there's some ancient writing, which I believe they could not translate or decipher this, some type of ancient writing.